Good morning, true crime friends. I'm so excited. I can barely contain myself. This is the day I have waited for. Do you know how long I have waited for this day? We finally have all of the information in the YNW Melly trial. The state has rested, the defense has rested, and now everything we're going to know about this case, we already know, and I have thoughts and feelings. I also have a theory that is not based on anything that has been given to us in the trial exactly. And I'm going to share my theory with you. But first, I need you to like this video. You're supposed to like each one. When you log on, when you open up, you hit like, and then we can have a conversation. Also, subscribe to the channel so you know when I post a new video. But listen. Okay, I need to calm down. Okay, the state rested yesterday or 2 days ago, and the defense rested yesterday. The defense put on a case. Let me tell you something about the defense's case. First of all, when they were talking about like the timing of this trial, the defense was like, so we're going to need about a week to bring all our witnesses. We're going to bring this one and this one and this one. There's expert number 1 and expert number 65 and expert. Do you know what they did? Final day of the case, I was like, okay, I'm ready for this expert. And then they tried some dude up there, and I was like, okay, dude, he don't look like an expert in nothing except for maybe like smoking weed and drinking too much. Like, what is he an expert on? He was like, hey, my name is AD, and I'm a friend of Melly's. Oh, okay, so he's an expert on being your homeboy. Got you. Okay, tell us something, AD. Give us the perfect story. Explain to us how this went. And then AD told us a story that made sense if you didn't compare it to the evidence. Now, according to Mr. AD, he says, we were at the studio, we were all sleeping, and then we got into the cars and we started to drive home. And I'm like, okay, you started to drive home. Right, I remember that. He was like, and then we pulled off on the side of the road. Sir, the cell phones never showed you never slowed down. Did the phone continue to drive and y'all just pulled off? I'm confused. Okay, so he says he was sleeping in the car. They pull the car to the side of the road. Melly scoots his little self in, and then they get in the car and they slam the doors and they speed on off to Melly's house, and everybody goes to sleep. Okay, great. And then a couple of hours later, according to Mr. AD, they wake up and they're like, oh no, there's been a murder. And he said he knows that Melly came home because nobody had the keys to the house except for Melly and who was the dude? Bortland. And so they needed Melly's key to let them in. 8 grown behind men lived in a house together and only 2 had house keys. Make it make sense. And I'm like, okay. Mr. AD, I'm with you. I'm going to believe everything you say just because you said it. Great. So Mr. AD, what happened next? So according to AD, he's like, we wake up in the middle of the night and we're like, oh no, there has been a shooting. We start crying, we start grieving, and then we leave our house and go to Fredo Bang's house. Why again exactly do you leave and go to Fredo Bang? Does Fredo Bang have more beer, more weed? Why are we going to Fredo Bang's house? Okay, fine. He's like, but Melly couldn't find his phone. Really? Melly couldn't find his phone. Fascinating. Okay, so, but they looked for it with their eyes. Did they call the phone? Did they use Find My iPhone? No. They didn't want to trouble themselves with nothing like that because then they might actually find it. So they go to Fredo Bang's house. These are not the names their mamas named them. These are the names they named themselves. So they go to Fredo's and everybody is crying and sad, and they say, oh, so you got dressed and left. And he was like, no, we already had our clothes. No, wait. Everybody was sleeping in their clothes. Everybody? All 4 of y'all, 8, however many people were at the house, everybody was sleeping in their clothes. My kids do this. I think it's disgusting. First of all, how bad do you think that house smelled? That house had to smell terrible. 8 young men, they was not washing things. They were not putting things. We saw the house. It had like 1 piece of furniture in it, and the kitchen contents included a crushed can and a bottle of bleach and a lot of paper plates all over. They was not cooking. Was some leftover Chinese in there, some Burger King, some Taco Bell, some KFC. That house was disgusting, I guarantee you. And there's a 100% chance they did not have a housekeeper, but whatever. So they stay in their sweating, disgusting clothes. Did they wash their face or brush their teeth? Unlikely. They go to Fredo Bang's house, stinking up the place. But that's okay because the weed and the liquor was going to cover that. So they go over there and they hang out for some unknown period of time where Melly is hysterical and crying and covered in blood. And then they go back to Melly's house and they were like, how'd you get in there? Oh no, the door was unlocked. So let me get this straight. The first time you came home in this very nice neighborhood that's way nicer than you've ever lived in before, you kept the door nice and locked. But then when you left in the middle of a giant threat where someone was just murdered, you leave the door unlocked so everybody can just walk in? Okay. Seems curious to me. And he's like, and then, we just went on with our day, like, because Melly had a video shoot, so we went to the video shoot. Sir, There's a lot about this story that's wrong, but he knew his story. He studied it. He wrote it down. They probably spelled it out all phonetically for him. So he said all the words and he seemed as confident as a half-assed witness can seem. Okay, great. So then the prosecution gets up and was like, couple questions for you, sir. What did you use to find the phone? Oh no, we just looked with our eyes. We did not avail ourselves of any of the technology available to find phones when they are lost. Did you call his phone? I don't remember, because that would show up on the call records. Like, no, I don't recall calling his phone. I don't recall looking at technology. I don't recall doing anything but looking around and saying, ooh, it's not here. Sir, also, this phone somehow drove itself to the murder scene and then drove itself to Miramar, to the hospital. And then that phone dropped a ping to where Fredo Bang came to pick Melly up. Do you think the phone did that on its own? Maybe the phone was possessed of a zombie and the zombie killed these boys? Got you. Okay, great. And so then everybody went to Fredo Bang's house because Fredo Bang is up in the middle of the night randomly. Was he wearing pajamas? Do any of y'all even own pajamas? I really need to understand what if even basketball shorts and no shirt. That's better than having your all day clothes laid up on your sheets that you're going to lay on and you probably going to want some girl to lay on it with you. Ew. The nastiness is too much for me, but I'm a mom and I'm thinking of it with my mom brain. Wait, I have notes, whatever. What else? The keys, the lock, the unlocked door, the disgusting boy's house. Oh, and they said, were you concerned about your safety? No, we're fine. We weren't concerned about our safety at all. So we figured in the midst of someone trying to assassinate our famous friend and definitely assassinating our two non-famous friends, safety, it was not a concern. I think we're going to be fine. Sir, this didn't go good. And I was like, okay. That's just their first try, right? The prosecution got up there to establish a story, and now they have established the story. So now they're going to bring on the cell phone experts to like confirm and shore up the case. They were like, we rest. What? That's your whole entire, that's the case? That's the whole case. Wait, Miss Raven Liberty faked sick last week. You can have all this time to come up with all of these extra people, and this Mama Luke, this is to do what? Make it make sense. Okay, so then they're gonna take the rest of the time off, and today they're gonna get together and they're gonna figure out like what are the jury instructions. Melly, you going to jail? What you need to figure out is like, what do I want to do in jail? Do I want to learn a trade? Will I continue to rap? What's gonna happen now? Because sir, you about to be convicted. It's not looking good for you, Melly. It's not looking good. Now, how much did this defense cost? For this defense, I mean, to their credit, they got a lot of stuff thrown out. A lot of stuff. Even with everything they got thrown out, your lawyers just made you look so guilty. They didn't come with anything. Nothing. This friend who's like, I don't remember. I'm going to tell you some facts that are not supported by evidence, and I would like you to believe them, please and thank you. Even though I am the least trustworthy person we have seen in this case so far, second only to Miss Felicia Holmes. Are they paying him? Are they paying this young man, Mr. AD, who got up there today? Oh, and what's his name? 100K Track? Officer Francois Bouvet, whatever his name is, Officer Francois. Francois, what's his last name? Don't even recall. Anyway, Mr. 100K Track. When they started talking about his money and when it became clear that Melly was about to go to prison, oh, he totally wiped his Instagram. I was like, where your Instagram go, boo-boo? What happened? What happened? Did you lose it? You lost the password and had to reset it? Did you have to back everything up to the cloud and wipe it out so you could start all over again? Nope, took down every picture. And now he only has up like 2 pictures. A picture where he claims to be giving money to charity, although my understanding of charity, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you're going to give money to charity, all you got to do is write a check. These days, you don't even have to write a check. You can Zelle them. You can just go online. Dear homeless children, here is money. Send. You hit the PayPal button. Boom. Done. Venmo. Done. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. No, but this is what he's going to do to give money to charity. He's going to take a big coffee table and he's going to cover it with lots of money and then put on dark sunglasses and pose in front of it. Sir, that's not how you, Jay-Z had his Sean Carter Foundation gala the other night, and I read in the paper that they raised $20 million. Do you think 16 million of it came from track? Oh no, 15 million because he kept 1 million for his living expenses. Something tells me no. By giving to charity, I think he means giving large amounts of money to young, musically talented kids that are from the hood who are about to be shot up any second. Now he's like, take this money, I'm gonna let you hold this for a second, and then I'm gonna possibly claw it back when you're dead. I'm not making an accusation, but I am making an accusation. I don't know that that's what he did. I'm just saying that's what I think. Here is my theory of the case. Now, this theory, keep in mind, is based on things I've seen on social media, things I've decided in my head, things I know based on my own life experience. So this is free to you. Take it for what it's worth. And just I'll put an allegedly in front of all of this because this is what I have decided happened. Okay, so look, if you will recall, a couple of days, well, first of all, Melly and his mom and his family members talk about Melly being bipolar. Okay, I believe that that is likely a valid condition, right, in him. He talked about it with Kanye. He wrote a song about it. He's been open about the fact of his mental health struggles. Also, there's Melly versus Melvin, where one side of him is nice and one side of him shoots up people. Child. Anyway, so I'm like, okay, you've already acknowledged that you are known to shoot up people. Great. 2 days before these murders, 2 months before these murders went down, Juvie and Sack, and all these boys were fighting back and forth about money and power and recognition. Who's the CEO, blah, blah, blah. And Sack Tracer was very clear. I am the CEO of all this mess. You are the face. Keep acting right, keep acting wrong, and I'm going to ruin your whole life. You better get your act together. Okay, great. So that is the foundation on which the rest of this theory is built. 2 days before this shooting, Melly was in another city. I think it was Atlanta, but I'm not entirely sure. He had been up all night and he was going crazy and saying all these crazy things on social media in a live, like an Instagram live, just rambling kind of out of his mind. Now, if you know mental illness like I know mental illness, what I was looking at was clear mental illness, possibly mania. Also, he's known to stay up a lot at night. He's known to smoke weed. He's known to drink a lot of alcohol. Here's the thing about bipolar, and I know because I have people in my family who live with this condition. And I say live with because they manage themselves and they are totally fine, perfectly functional citizens. A cause and not sleeping causes you to have, mental distress or whatever, and it makes it worse, right? So him up on the phone, on Instagram going crazy, to me, what I'm looking at is a manic episode, right? So he's having a manic episode and everybody starts messaging him. Go to sleep, get some rest, calm down. Even his gang friends were like, dude, we got rules about stuff like this. You can't be just wilding out and acting crazy on Instagram Live. We gonna need you to shut that down. They were sending him the rules like, dude, shut up. You look crazy. So he keeps talking and then he logs off. Okay, even if he went to sleep at that time, which I somehow doubt, mental illness doesn't shut off like that. It's not like, oh, I took a nap and now I'm all better. It might take him days for his body to recalculate. Okay, great. So he's in a little bit of a manic, again, allegedly. A couple days go by where he continues to exacerbate his illness. He continues to drink. He continues to smoke. He continues to not sleep appropriately. They smoke and drink all day. They go to the studio, but then they fall asleep because now his body is crashing out. Only he has organic mental illness mixed with drugs and alcohol. And now Sack Chaser mad. Sack is like, we have paid for 12 hours in this studio and y'all are just sleeping? What? So Sack gets mad and he throws water on Melly to wake him up. That's probably not gonna go good. Also, Sack is giant, like 6'3", and Melly is 5 foot nothing. I think he's 5'5", 120 pounds. Ooh, the dreams. Do you know how I would behave if I was 120 pounds? Child, you couldn't tell me nothing. I would just be like, I'm wearing this bikini to work and what? Anyway, so they get in the car. They were sleeping on and off. There was bickering. Oh, you know, Sack had a mouthful of something to say about them sleeping in the studio. We done paid for this studio time. We work all so hard. We paid for this studio time. And y'all come in here and sleep. Let me hit that blunt again. You know what I'm saying? And so I believe, based on what I have decided in my mind, that Melly says to Bortland, who's driving, they got, you know, the house is unlocked. Let them dudes go to the house. We're going to just go for a little ride. Drives them out to the edge of town so they can have a discussion, have their little fight, not in the presence of these other dudes. These dudes get sick of Melly and they just lean over and go to sleep. Where Bortland and Melly continue to chatter on about the situation because Melly's mad. Melly's like, these are my artists. What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Also, in my mind, he's not stable in his mind. And so, apropos of absolutely nothing except for the fact that he's in the middle of a mental health crisis, he takes an impulsive action and takes out a gun and shoots friend number 1 in the front seat and friend number 2 in the back seat. And then he's like, oh, shoot, what did I do? Moment of clarity. And then Bortland is like, just don't shoot me too. You see, I got the keys and you know you're not tall enough to drive. We don't got phone books. So you're going to need me to drive you home. Don't shoot me. And they're like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We don't know math. Remember when we skipped out of algebra class? That's not going to come back to bite us right now at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk around the other side of this car. We're going to leave these doors open. We're going to shoot up the side of the car and say it was a drive-by. And then you, like a crash test dummy, are going to take these dead bodies to the hospital. That's what we're going to do. Okay, great. And so they come up with that plan. They shoot up the car. They drive close to the hospital. Melly gets out thinking, I'm sure there's no cell towers here. We're just in the middle of Miramar, Florida. How could the police possibly figure it out? He runs around and then he's calling folks, somebody come and pick me up, and then you know the rest of the story from there. Now, this is what I think happened. Now, do I have proof of that? Nah. But my story is just as good as the dude who was on the stand yesterday, Mr. AD, talk about he was asleep and we was crying and all of us stink. The house is disgusting. You don't want to use this bathroom because you know that bathroom. That bathroom is a sin and a shame. You know it is. You know it is like I know it is. But I'm a mom. They need like an entire gallon bottle of that Clorox urine killer. Just because, you know, they just go in there and pee on everything because that's what boys do. I live with all boys. I have sons. I know how it works. You don't want to put a black light on that bathroom. That bathroom is now, I can smell it right now. And they haven't lived there in 5 years. I can still smell it. Anyway, so according to me, as my mother would say, the gospel according to Kathy is that that's what happened. That this young man was having an issue with his mental health and he snapped and killed his friends. I believe he's sorry. I believe that he hopes he don't get caught. Now, what me and you know, based on facts and evidence, he going down. He going down. My made up theory be damned. He going down because the entire time the defense attorney was like, prove it. And then they were like, we will have other things to say, but they have to prove it. Then the state got up there and proved it. And the defense was like, we got this dude over here who's going to say some stuff that we told him to say. And we paid him $1,000 because, you know, he's not a high paid witness. And then they were like, did the detective ever question you about these things? And they were like, no, Detective Moretti never questioned us. Here's the other thing. I wish the state had asked, did Detective Moretti ever try to contact you? Were you aware that he was trying to reach out to you? Because if you recall, everybody in this case spent a lot of time dodging out the police. I'm not talking to the police. I don't know from the police. I don't know nothing about the police. And our brother AK-47 with the bad language over there on his channel. Ooh, I love his channel, but like, AK. Listen, he's the voice of the streets. I am the voice of the suburbs and just modern moms everywhere with a little side of crazy. But AK was like, you can't, if you interact with the police at all, even if you get up there to give like testimony, you're a snitch. Oh, I didn't know that. I had not fully understood the rules of snitchitude. So apparently now Mr. AD is considered a snitch because he spoke on Melly's behalf. If you go to court at all, according to these fine gentlemen, that makes you a snitch. Fascinating. As a regular citizen who knows nothing about the streets, I just think that makes you a responsible citizen. But what do I know? I've spent my life trying very hard to avoid all things like I don't want to know what the rules of the streets. I don't need to know that. Because I need to know what street the ShopRite is on and what are the direct. When's a good coupon day? Do you have double coupon day at the Piggly Wiggly? Because that I want to know. What they got on sale down there at Publix. That's the rules I need to know. But whatever. This case is going to be what it's going to be. Today, they're just going to spend all day arguing about like, what is the jury's, what can the jury know? What can they not know? The jury is divided evenly. 7 men, 7 women, because it's like 12 and then 2 alternates. And then they have 7 Black people, 7 Caucasian people from what I understand. So it's a very evenly split jury. It will be interesting to see what they say. Here's the thing though. My understanding of it, unless I am incorrect, is that if you like a hood dude or a hood lady, the likelihood of you doing jury duty is probably fairly low. So they're going to have 12 to 14, depending. However, regular citizens like yours truly looking at this evidence. Now, what are regular citizens going to say? I think regular citizens are going to have a verdict before lunch because they do not want to spend the night in a hotel that's paid for by the state. Because you know they're not putting them up in the Ritz. They probably putting them up in the Motel 6, a La Quinta, or Ramada Inn, something like that. Nothing wrong with those hotels, but I would rather sleep in my own bed and eat my own food and watch my own TV. Although if there's some parents of young children, they're like, oh, I will sleep anywhere just to get a nap. But whatever, especially if they don't have to pay for that nap. But a lady, one of the jurors said the other day, I'm sick of this case. Can I just go back to work? You know it's bad when people are begging to go back to work. This jury is worn out. These lawyers on both sides have worn them out. This case has limped along for 6 weeks now, and now is about to be over. You think these people are not going to come to a quick verdict so they can go home? You are sorely mistaken. Now, I might be wrong. I'm just going on based on my personal experience of jury duty. You like these people. They nice to sit quietly next to for several hours a day for several weeks. But now you ready to go back to your regular life. Even if you're on vacation after 8 weeks, you're like, this was nice, but can I just sleep in my bed? Can I pet my own dog? I just need this to be done. So I suspect verdict by Friday, but we will find out. Okay, now I got to figure out what we're going to do for lunchtime at True Crime. I got to find a Snapped episode, and I got to get to the gym. Y'all have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.